And, Fangio himself said yesterday, Peter, that if there's any advantage, it's theirs for the time that he consulted, that they picked up more from him than he picked up from them. And that meshes with what Sirianni said. It's not like Sirianni opened the vault and told him everything that he's got going on and all of his deepest, darkest secrets. This is them using Fangio's knowledge and his experience to enhance their Super Bowl run last year. So I tend to agree with Fangio. Now, he probably had his eyes and ears open all the time, but they probably got more from him than he got from them.
I think he did, Mike, but, I know somebody who has studied this Vic Fangio defense very, very closely over the years. And I remember talking to this coach in training camp, on my training camp tour, and just said, he had said to me, he goes, wait until Miami's defense gets to about mid-season, because this is going to be a difficult defense for a lot of guys to learn. And Mike, I don't remember last week when we talk about, you're not going to hear Jamar Chase talk about, the Devin Witherspoon and DK Metcalf after the game, and we had a good laugh about that. Because a lot of times what is a story on Wednesday or Thursday, nobody even remembers it at the end of the game. And I doubt sincerely that either side at the end of this game at midnight Sunday night is going to be saying, yep, well, when Vic was here, the Eagles are not going to say, even privately, when Vic was here, we learned about this, and that helped us win this game today. And I don't think Fangio would say anything similar. But I do think there's one thing about Vic Fangio entering this game that really encourages me if I am a fan of the Miami Dolphins. They had a couple of rough days early on, like in the first month of the season. They went out and Justin Herbert tore them up in the first game of the year. And then obviously the Bills put up 48 on them in week 4 or 5, whatever that was. But look at what's happened in the last 2 weeks. And again, nobody's going to say the Giants and Carolina are great offenses. I absolutely, totally get that. But against the Giants and Carolina, they've held both of them under 300 yards. They've been extremely efficient, on third downs and third down conversions. And to me, I look at this Miami team as a team that their guys are getting it with Vic Fangio, and they're getting it as they just get into a very, very important part of their schedule starting Sunday night in South Philly.
And it's a critical game for Jalen Hurts. He had a very bad day against the Jets. 3 interceptions, including the one that Tony Adams returned for what ultimately was the go-ahead and game-winning touchdown. How will he bounce back? Do you think he will bounce back against the Vic Fangio defense?
The thing that bothered me about Jalen Hurts last week, Mike, and, I wish we had the video to show the viewers, but there's a little short video at the end of the game after he threw that interception. And first of all, his mechanics on that interception were terrible. You saw how he threw off his back foot, and that end zone shot, which I wonder if we could show it again, Courtney, because that end zone shot speaks volumes. Everybody was crediting Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, after the game, and good. Jeff Ulbrich, Robert Saleh, that staff deserves credit. But watch the end zone shot right here, and you tell me, what in the world is Jalen Hurts doing throwing that ball? I mean, it was just an awful decision. He threw it way too late, and there was not enough of a window there to complete that throw 20 or 23 yards down the field. But what I was going to talk about is that right after that, the TV cameras focused in on Jalen Hurts on the sidelines. He was going to get another shot because they were going to let him score. Okay, you saw that And everybody had to know that they were going to let him score. So he's going to get another shot. He's not talking to anybody. He's not looking at the tablet. He's staring into space. And, even as they're getting ready, they showed him again. They showed him twice. Even as they're getting ready to go back on the field, he's not engaged with anybody. And the last series of the game looked like that. The Eagles went 4 and out on that last series. And I don't know any other word to say other than that Jalen Hurts just looked almost like quasi-defeated by the Jets, by their pressure and by what they did on defense in that game. Because you expect a quarterback to say, okay, guys, we got one more, let's go. And it's almost like he's saying, I have no idea what to do right now. And that was bothersome to me because it's totally uncharacteristic of this incredible worker, great teammate, everything. I just thought it was really a different look out of Jalen Hurts than we've seen.
Well, and the reality is he came up against a really, really good defense that had answers for everything he was doing. And, one of the realities of the offseason following Hurts' breakout performance in 2022, the teams that have the Eagles on the schedule have extra film, extra time, extra incentive to come up with ways to counter the things that Hurts has done so well or did so well a year ago. And we've seen, even though they're 5-1, we've seen a dip from the Eagles this year. They're not the same dominant team they were when they were winning and winning and winning last year. Good news for the Eagles. Lane Johnson, who left Sunday's game early with an ankle injury, he's back at practice, limited participant on Thursday. Devontae Smith, who didn't practice Wednesday with a hamstring injury, he was back on a limited basis. They need both of those guys. And defensively, Peter, we'll flip it over there. Jalen Carter, who's already become one of the best defensive linemen in all of football, he didn't play on Sunday, limited each of the last 2 days with that ankle injury. That's the real test here. Can this Eagles defense take enough steam out of the new age greatest show on turf, which is a hybrid of the Rams offense of 22 years ago plus the Showtime Lakers? Can the Eagles just slow them down enough so they can muster enough points to outscore them? That's really the question. I don't know. As good as that Eagles defense is, I'm not convinced they can slow them all the way down.
I don't know who's slowing down this team right now, Mike. You know what to me is so impressive? And this is going to sound strange, but we've seen so many plays out of the Miami Dolphins this year that, how when coaches talk about, when someone says to them, boy, where did you get that play? Where did you get that weird play you called at work for the 72-yard touchdown? We look at every play in the NFL. We look at explosive plays. There are no new ideas in the NFL. We have just studied and blah, 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 blah. I have seen a bunch of plays this year that have no origin story other than in Mike McDaniel's head. I'm seriously thinking that Mike McDaniels is not sitting there at 11 o'clock at night on a Wednesday just saying, hey, well, let me look at all the long touchdowns from last week just to see if I can get any ideas. I think he thinks of this stuff himself, and he trusts himself to be thinking of this, which is unlike an awful lot of coaches, I think, in recent NFL history.
And it should be a great game on Sunday night. We hope it'll be a great game because we want as many of you out there to watch it and enjoy it and take it all the way down to the wire. I don't feel real strongly about this one, Peter. I picked the Eagles to win by a point, which kind of allows me to have it both ways. Eagles win, Dolphins cover. Do you have a lean one way or the other on who you like on Sunday night?
At halftime of the game, of the Jets-Eagles game, I would have said Philly will figure a way to win. And I think there's a very good chance they will figure a way to win this game. But the way that game ended last week planted some seeds of doubt in my brain, about the Eagles. Now, maybe maybe it's all going to go away. There's certainly, I still think Jalen Hurts is easily, clearly, if I were picking him right now, top 5 quarterback in the NFL, easily. And in my opinion, this is an important game for him. He's got to get it back. You can't be 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions after 6 games and be great and have a great offense. You can't be that way. So this is a really important game, I think, for Jalen Hurts. I would pick Miami because even though the crowd is going to be a factor and it's hard to go on the road, and the last time they had a big road game, they went 3 and out 4 times in a row and lost in Buffalo by 28. So, that could happen again. Who knows? But I just think Miami right now, I trust a little more than I trust Philly.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.